What day is it with Seth and Kelly? Hey everyone, welcome back to What Day Is It with Seth and Kelly.
Welcome back.
We already have 2 people watching. How exciting.
Awesome. And of course, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Seth. Let's play the theme song one more time while I have it up. What day is it with Seth and Kelly? All right, now it's just us. And I think we voted we were going to do this one. Ta-da!
We're going to try to go big today. So let us know what you guys think about this camera angle as opposed to the other one. I mean, there's not much difference. But
the difference is we're a little bigger and there's less of my stuff around you can't see my
and less of my stuff.
You can't see Miss Piggy. There we go. Now you can kind of see Miss Piggy.
You could still see Smee, so that's the most important part.
I agree. He was like, right before I clicked live, he was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And somehow I managed to get him in the frame. So we'll see if he stays for the whole episode.
He's just getting a lot of airtime throughout this whole quarantine experience. I feel like Smee's a little celebrity now. Well, he was always a celebrity though, Seth, right?
I think so. I mean, his cat mitzvah was viewed by over 1,000 people.
What?
Yeah, have you not seen his cat mitzvah?
I have not.
Oh, here we go. Let me put up Smee's cat mitzvah link.
I feel like this is mandatory. I need to see this.
Yeah, if you go to sethbh.com/Smee, I could also put that in the comments. Maybe I'll do that. Because then it's clickable. See, I'm learning. I'm learning how to do things.
You are.
Yes, and it's a reminder to those 8 people watching, if you write us during the show, either on YouTube or Facebook, we can talk to you. So you are a part of the show too.
Yes, you are a part of the show. And if you ever want to ask anything or participate in the topic of the day, feel free to comment below. Today we're talking about anxiety and how we've been dealing with anxiety during quarantine.
Anxiety Society, because I need to rhyme every episode title.
Anxiety Society.
Yes.
Are we part of the Anxiety Society?
I don't know. I think everyone has anxiety these days. I don't know how anyone doesn't have anxiety these days.
Yeah, me either. So, all right, wait. Let's see this cat mitzvah. I have to see this.
Oh, you could watch it when we're not on the screen. I mean, I could actually share it. Let me see. If I do this and I go to this, I can go to sethbh.com/Smee. And it's right here, Smee's cat mitzvah. Are we on? We're good? We're having?
Yep.
And we're live. Welcome, Facebook, to Smee's cat mitzvah. I cannot believe that he's turning 13. They get old so fast. I gave him... Yeah, let's see. Here's the opening number. This is the year of Smee's cat mitzvah. We're more excited than we should be. We're more up. This is the year of the cat when he spreads out his claws. There's music in his soul. There's cat food in his bowl. Let's hope he won't get fat. Our cat.
Oh my gosh.
All right. And that goes on. My friend Jill is a rabbi wannabe. So she did the whole ceremony.
Sorry.
So it's really cute. Yes.
I think
totally cute.
My day just got 1 billion times better. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's something for you to look forward to tonight, episode 3. We got a comment from your mom. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Mom. My mom is always here, my biggest supporter. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
I know. Let's start talking about our topic for today about anxiety.
Oh, yes. On topic.
I think that, well, I mean, the cat mitzvah was totally worth it.
Well, people can watch it on their own time. It's only 7 minutes.
Absolutely. So, Seth, how have you been feeling in terms of your anxiety level over this whole situation? By the way, I'm sorry about my stuffy nose. My allergies are just like so bad today.
I've had horrible allergies, and I don't even go outside. I open the window, and then I'm like, oh, my eyes are itchy. Oh, I'm sniffly. And even inside, I have bad allergies. I'm okay. I keep having dreams about my show Love Quirks, which used to be off Broadway and isn't there right now. And I'll read these articles from the theater community trying to find ways to have theater while it's socially distanced. And I'm like, that's not theater. So from my perspective, we should just wait until we can actually have theater again. And I just don't know when that's going to be. And that's what causes my anxiety.
I mean,
every night.
That makes complete sense. Theater is a huge part of your life. I mean, mine as well. And it's tough because obviously, like, you know, entertainment is going to be more on the back burner because we're going to be focusing on, you know, the necessities that we need to survive right now.
Yeah.
So
theater is going to be the last thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very upsetting to me. And I have had dreams every night. I think it's been 100%, maybe one night out of the last 6 weeks where I did not dream about it. But I'm always missing my show because I worked 10 years to get it off Broadway.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's happening? What's happening? But in terms of, you know, everything else, I usually stay at home a lot. So that hasn't been a big deal for me. Smee doesn't seem to mind that I'm home all day. I think I say he prefers it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm here for the next hour. And I'm all right. I think in terms of like just day-to-day getting by, I think I had 10 performances online this week. It's a lot. So I feel good. I had a new song called Gratefulness, so I'm in a very grateful mood.
That's amazing. That's always good to be in a grateful mood. I definitely feel the anxiety in terms of worrying about when life's going to go back to normal. It's scary. And I definitely have felt a few times at the beginning of this that seeing how different everything is a little alarming, you know, like we have to wear a mask outside, grocery stores, you have to stand, there's tape on the ground. I mean, this used to really freak me out.
Have you been to the grocery stores?
I have, yeah. I mean, I brave it like every other day to go get stuff I need.
Wow.
I've tried Instacart, but I can never get on. There's never any time slots. No matter what time of the day I try, I have not had luck so far. So, but also I have lovely caring parents who have been sending me care packages. So I feel really lucky. My mom and my dad have been sending me like soap and toilet paper and paper towels. So I'm so lucky. Yeah, I'm like so lucky to have parents that love me and care about me. And I know, speaking of anxiety,
I feel like most people have parents that care about them, but yours are going above and beyond.
Yeah, no, I know. They really are going above and beyond, and that's what I meant. Like, I think they're just worried about me being out here. They're all out in PA, like 2.5 hours away, so which isn't even that far, but, you know, it's the reality of the situation.
Even nowadays, everything is far. Like, I don't see you and you live in Queens. Like,
right.
That's still too far.
Yeah, it's still too far because we can't go anywhere. And I think one thing we could do to calm our anxieties is to, and this is like what I talk about on my personal live streams that I do every night, is to just remember that.
Oh, you're already up. I already had your card up there.
Oh, thank you. I've been doing live streams every night at 8, where I just kind of give advice and talk about ways to be positive during a situation and talk about different emotions because I'm a YouTuber and I do a lot of that on my channel. But basically, yeah, I think one thing I've been telling myself to calm my own anxieties is that it might not feel like it right now, but this is temporary. And you have to tell yourself that too, Seth. Like, Love Quirks isn't over forever. I think you'll have another chance. And just keep the hope alive, you know?
We're ready to do it. As soon as they say, hey, you can have theater again, it's fine. But if they're like, you can have theater again, but you can only have half your seats, then I just don't know how we're going to make a profit. Or if it's back and it's okay to be back, but then people like in our parents' generation, if they're too scared to go to theater, we won't sell this show because our huge demographic for our matinees are all quote unquote high risk. So we need something like a cure or a vaccine, or we don't know. We don't know. It could be years. It could be months. We just don't know what's happening. And I think that's the most anxiety producing thing is the uncertainty.
Yeah. That's
by the way, your mom says she wants to keep you out of the stores. So that is why she's been sending you stuff.
Already smacking myself for openly admitting that I've been going to stores. Mom, I don't go to the store that often.
I go once every 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, I have eggs once a week. I get a dozen eggs. I have 3 eggs once a week. I was going to say tamago, which is Japanese for eggs. It's tamago ga sanko o tabemasu. And that means I have 3 eggs.
Oh,
I'm learning Japanese. That's one of my little projects.
Good for you. That's cool. You have so many projects, Seth. I think one thing we could use to calm our anxieties too is to dive into our passions. That's really what I feel I've been trying to do. I've been making so much more YouTube content than I used to have time for back when I had jobs. So there are good sides to this.
I know. When I scroll, I see nonstop Kelly videos. It's like, when does she have time to do all this? And I'm like, oh, of course she has time. What else is anyone doing?
I've been stuck in this room for 2.5 months. I have lots of time. But you too, Seth, like you've been keeping up with all your projects. And that's why I think even though it's scary that the entertainment industry is on halt right now, being an artist is such a blessing right now because we have so many things we could experiment with.
Well, I feel like we're all the ones who are creating so much and we're the most undervalued. It's like people expect us to be putting out all this stuff for free, and yet we are what is entertaining everybody. Without the movies and the TV show and all the live streams, people would be going insane.
It's true. We're
actually talking about that on my podcast this season. It's one of my episodes. Kelly's also going to be on my podcast, Millennials Are Ruining the World, an Exennial's Perspective. I'm not woke, but I'm awake, starting Wednesdays in June.
I'm not doing enough. But I'm awake. That's amazing.
Yes, that's the catchphrase. I'm not woke, but I'm awake, because I have good grammar. And, you know, I don't consider myself a woke person, but I do consider myself very progressive. I'm just not, you know, an idiot.
You're definitely not an idiot, Seth.
Wilson says he can't get enough of your videos.
Thank you.
I think he's your number one fan there.
Well, we're working on an exciting project together, too. We're making a cartoon together, so very exciting. He's a great voice actor as well and animator, so
cool.
He's very supportive.
If you need another voice, I also do voiceover.
Yes, so that's how we met, Seth.
I know, that's true. You already knew that.
And Will has also studied with Paul, so
cool.
We know he's a good person.
Yeah,
we study with Paul. Yeah, he's the best. The best.
The best. All right, well, I think it's about time to bring in our first guest.
Yes, totally.
And it looks like I have the first one here. When not pulling his hair out during quarantine, our first guest today, as you see, I changed it to today. It's no longer tonight. Our first guest today can be found playing video games with friends, eating whatever's left over in the fridge, or rewatching all the Star Wars movies in whichever order he chooses.
He is also the author of a children's book called The Tale of Two Princes, and is currently working on his first novel about his 94 years young best friend with whom he used to play bridge with every Monday night.
Please welcome Joshua Desjardins.
Woo!
Hey, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hello.
I saw you preparing that spin down in the bottom here.
Oh, good. Welcome to my bedroom. Yay.
That was such a wonderful spinning introduction.
Thank you. I think my favorite part of quarantine is like Zoom calls and WebEx like this and seeing everyone else's homes.
Yeah, totally. It's so crazy. You get to see everyone's homes. Did you guys know that SNL is actually filming from like the celebrities' homes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's so crazy.
Brilliant.
Yes. They're keeping it going.
It's really cool to watch them though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. So let's talk about our topic, anxiety. So how has your experience been so far with everything? How have you been feeling and holding up with quarantine? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, I think, one, I'm very fortunate enough to still have a job and be working from home. I know that has been taking a lot of stress off.
That's one out of three of us.
I'm sure. Sorry. You know, and Kelly, I'll tell your mom, you know, I also found out before this that we both live in Sunnyside.
Yeah.
And the grocery stores are doing a really good job at, you know, making sure only a few people are in the store at a time.
Yeah.
I don't know which store you go to, Kelly, but I personally prefer Seatown, down on like 43rd or 42nd and Greenpoint Avenue. Their aisles are really wide. So it's
Aisles,
really cool. Yeah.
I just make puns. That's my job.
Totally. No, the cat puns beforehand. Oh, there goes me.
There he goes.
There he goes.
He is gone. I told you he wasn't going to stay this week.
No. I'm surprised he stayed that long. He did really well.
He did.
So so I've been one, I'm really fortunate to have that. I think, Kelly, what you said too, all these creative projects that we can do. And my brother and I actually put together, he did most of the performance aspect, but he put together a remix of him singing all 6 parts from the opening number of 6, which was supposed to have their opening night the day that Broadway closed.
I wonder what that's like to have an opening night get canceled that should have happened.
Yeah. But so
that's
anyway,
awesome.
So helping him put that together and edit that for him was a lot of fun, and honestly has gotten me closer with my brother because I've gotten to create some really fun things with him that we maybe just didn't normally have the time for.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so great because what I've been noticing during quarantine is within collaborating with people, that's kind of Seth and I's experience. We took a voice acting class together, and we took an animation voice acting class, and we never really hung out after that. But then we started talking during quarantine and we came up with this idea, and now we're good buddies. I really feel like this has been bringing a lot of people close together through creative pursuits.
I check in with a lot more people than I used to now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So do I, for sure. So you actually wrote a children's book. That's so cool. Can you talk about that?
I did, yeah. You mentioned that, and I'm I sort of have it right here.
Oh, that's amazing.
If we switch here, put it up again. If I switch to this, you can see it better.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Get the Tale of Two Princes.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So I'm actually, unfortunately, you probably can't find it online right now because I'm actually in the middle of getting it republished.
I remember.
There's so many great ways of publishing it now, and we had sort of fallen into a con almost of, we got it published, it got printed, but I had lots of issues getting it to that point. And nowadays, especially for authors, there's really great jobs of doing print on demand or even digital printing. I've been finding out that in Apple Books, if you use their Pages application, you can automatically upload your books to Apple Books directly from the Pages app.
Oh, really?
So wow. I know, Seth, you've gone through Amazon.
I usually use Amazon.
Yeah. And
I haven't tried for a children's book, though. It works for children's books.
Well, that is a little different because there's images involved. So I think, and that's why we had gone through an actual publisher before, but they went out of business last year. So this year I found another publisher and we're working with her to hopefully bring that out. I'm hoping for June because that's Pride Month. So, it's called Kindred Inc. Publishing. It actually focuses on more love stories, not necessarily romantic novels, but children's books or anything that have to do with relationships and things like that. So, which is exactly what my book is about. But
that's so cool.
Yeah. I have had relationships.
Great.
So then Seth could relate.
Yes.
I just think that's so cool.
Sure, a lot of us can.
Absolutely. I just think that's really awesome because I never met a children's book author. I actually grew up drawing a lot of cartoons, so that's really awesome. Yeah. I'm trying to bring up our questions again here.
Oh, I could do one. So I know Josh has had anxiety before this because we talked about it on my podcast. So has your anxiety gotten any better or worse in the last month or so?
It's interesting because, I'm sure one thing you'll hear a lot of when talking about anxiety is triggers, right? What are your triggers? And I think you're right. I think we all have the potential of having anxiety in us, right? It's like The Walking Dead. We all have the potential of coming back as a zombie, right? And granted, that's in a fictional world, hopefully, although I feel like we're almost at that point now. No, but
not quite.
No, not quite. Let's hope. But I think we all have the potential of having anxiety, but it's what are our triggers, right? And what triggers our anxiety?
It makes me want to sing the Tigger song. The wonderful thing about triggers. Triggers are wonderful things.
Oh my God! Of course you go there. For me, my triggers was a relationship I was in, and a lot of actions and things that were happening for that were triggering my anxiety. So personally, like you, Seth, in a time like this where I feel like I'm getting more time to myself, or even more time to be able to connect with my brother or my family or my parents, I'm getting to call and talk to them more, or friends. Like, that is not a trigger for me. To me, that's actually helping my anxiety. I think, but finding it in different ways. For me, my schedule, my time, Seth, you're great at managing your time.
Oh, yeah.
In this type of environment, managing my time has been so different than when I had to be somewhere for, 8 to 9 hours a day.
I have a very, very tight schedule of what I do every day.
You are great in time management. So I've been, learning about
Katie
that.
is chiming in on The Walking Dead. She's a big Walking Dead fan. She says the CAC says it takes specific 2 agents to create an actual Walking Dead pandemic, and both agents kill each other before it can get to that point.
Perfect. Science, yes.
So thank you, Katie. Katie is in my showcase on May 12th, actually.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, she's calming our anxieties about zombies.
Yeah, so there will not be zombies.
I think like what you said is really amazing, Josh, because I think being alone here gives us a lot of time with our thoughts, and especially if you're dealing with something, especially relationship stuff, which I was in a similar boat at the very beginning of the quarantine. It's easy to just sit here and overthink, and that's why it's so important to reach out to our loved ones right now. If I wasn't able to connect with like my mom and my sister and my friends during this, I don't know what I would do. So I think that's really great that you found that,
well,
and I relate to that. Yeah.
And like the 1912 one or whatever, 1918, I don't even remember. But they didn't have internet and electricity or whatever.
Right. I know. Yeah. It'd be very different if even this had happened in the 60s or 70s, So yeah, no, I'm very grateful, which I think brings
the subject of my song today, gratefulness.
Yes. Which brings me also to like activities I might be doing too during this time. And for me, I'm a big gamer. So I love video games. Actually, almost every night at 9, I get together with a group of friends. We fill a room for playing Mario Kart on our Nintendo Switches. And we use like Google Hangouts or something to be able to at least hear each other and chat and trash talk each other. But that's been so great. Like, I look forward to that every day, even though my brother kicks our butts every night. He's really good.
I hope he watches the show since you mentioned him 5 times.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, Corey has to watch now. Hi, Corey. Thanks for watching.
I'll make him. Hi, Corey.
I'm a big gamer too. That's awesome.
Oh, good. What do you like to play?
I don't have the Switch, which I'm so upset about because I just want to play Animal Crossing so bad.
Oh, everyone's playing.
I don't know what Animal Crossing is, but this 17-year-old in my showcase Tuesday said she plays it all the time.
It's basically this Nintendo's version of The Sims. Yeah. So you sort of get to create your own island and but there's certain times of day, like it actually takes place in real time, and there are certain times when you can actually go and collect certain currencies of fruit and trade them, and it seems crazy to me. I have not played it yet, but my manager of all people is totally into this, and they got a Switch for quarantine purposes. But so I highly recommend. You may not be a gamer, but I especially find that Nintendo has so many games for so many different styles of people. I'm
definitely not a gamer,
You never know.
We do a game night every Thursday, but we usually play board games. Like, we did Trivial Pursuits, and that only works if both of you had the same set, but my friend Sharon has the same exact set. So as long as, that worked, and we did Boggle, and I took a picture of it, and I put it on the screen for us to play, and Categories was easy. And then we found online Cards Against Humanity and Codenames, which I really love. Yeah. And then my friend Nicole has the Jackbox app. And so that has been fun. So she shares that. Yeah, she shares the part. And we all play on our phone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yes. Even if you were to play that in person with people, you play on like a big screen, so you all see the question, but then everyone can dial in on their phone. So
exactly,
that's a cool thing to play.
That works really great remotely. And tonight, we're doing a Broadway murder mystery event.
Oh, cool! I've also been playing D&D virtually. So, game nights is a big thing. And especially if you can find ways of doing that virtually, has also been really helpful with dealing with anxiety. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Josh.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
We'll bring you back at the end for our round table, but we must move on to our next guest, and it is your line.
Okay, 1 second.
There we go.
Okay, so our next guest today is an actor, director, and singer who can currently be seen doing Zoom play readings and YouTube videos if you look really, really hard on the internet.
Like everyone else in the world, including me, she has a podcast. It's called the Amateur Detective Club, and new episodes come out every Monday.
Normally, she loves to run in really big races and go to places with hundreds of other people. But now she spends her time binging Star Trek, eating and cuddling her deaf Boston Terrier, Romeo.
Aww. Please welcome Melissa Meli. Hey, Melissa. How's it going?
Hi, Melissa.
It's going all right.
I put your podcast on your bio.
Oh, thanks. That's good. Yes.
So people can just click that right now if they wanted.
Yeah, we have a really fun video up because one of my co-hosts put together kind of not an animation, but, a picture video collage underscoring us talking about something completely ridiculous from next week's episode. So
I love your outfit matches our logo perfectly.
It does. It's nice and bright.
Thank you.
Yeah. So very cool. So what is your what's your podcast about? That sounds interesting. The Amateur Detective Club?
Yeah.
So what's like the whole synopsis?
So our podcast, we do murder mystery media. Say that 10 times fast. But mostly we were watching the Poirot TV show, Agatha Christie's Poirot.
Oh, I love Poirot.
Yeah. So we're reviewing those episodes. We're on series 3 at the moment. But we've done books, and we do contemporary movies. Like when we could go to movie theaters, we would review Detective Pikachu and Knives Out, that kind of thing.
I like Knives Out.
Yeah, we did too.
So anything detective based.
Yes.
That's very cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just watched Detective Pikachu for the first time.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. It was crazy.
It's such a fun.
It's really fun.
Experience.
It's really out there. Great movie though.
I watched CB Strike, which is on Cinemax. We had Cinemax for a weekend, and they told me I would have it until Monday morning at 6 a.m. So I saved the last season for Sunday night, and it was gone after midnight.
Oh, no.
So I only saw the first 2 seasons, but I have read the books. They're based on J.K. Rowling's Strike series that she writes under the name Robert Galbraith, is it?
Gilbert, yeah.
Yeah, you should read them. There's 4 of them now, and they're very, very good.
Yeah. We look for detective stuff. We've also, on our Patreon, been doing Murder, She Wrote episodes.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I've never actually watched an episode of that show.
Really? That surprises me. I feel like you would have watched Murder, She Wrote, Seth.
I feel like I would have too, but I didn't.
You just haven't. But yeah, so we used to be every other Monday, but since we got into quarantine, it has been every Monday.
Yeah. Why not 3 days a week?
Well,
editing.
Yeah.
It's great that quarantine gives us so much more time to do these things. And again, like I said, that's why now is a great time to be an artist. And you mentioned that you do a lot of acting stuff. What were you doing before quarantine, or what are you still doing or auditioning for?
Yeah. Well, actually, I had a really weird pause because I was producing for a while, and I am no longer doing that. But I was so kind of planning my big, I also, a couple of years ago, I went through a cancer battle. So I had kind of been paused, and I needed to get my headshots together and that kind of thing. And so I was working up towards that when the quarantine kind of further derailed my plans for doing that. But yeah, getting to do some Zoom play readings has really been great. Just kind of keeping myself, keeping my feet wet, flexing those muscles, reminding myself that I can still act.
Absolutely.
Of course.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's so
we did
incredible.
a reading of Vanya and Masha and Sonia and Spike, but that was the wrong order on Monday, and it was really great. We had like 500 people watch. It always says all these people watch, but like if someone pops in to watch for a second, it counts as a view.
That's pretty good, though. I mean, I like
We'll take it.
Yeah, it's really funny you mentioned that because I did that same play.
Oh, really?
On Monday night, also with different people.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Was it public to watch?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes. Yeah, it was on Facebook Live also. Yep.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow. You need to send emails. Like, if I don't have an email about something, I don't know about it. Like, everyone just posts. If it's not in my email box. But I think a lot of millennials don't read emails, so maybe for them it's good to post.
I mean, I'm a little guilty sometimes, but it depends. Mostly because I have to clean out my email box.
Well, here's you need 2 different email accounts, one for real things and one for fake things. So I have a second email for all the mailing lists, all the theater stuff, all the politics stuff, anything like from Kmart or whatever. That goes to my other address. And I have one that's just for business, for anything I'm doing, and for friends. And so I see the emails right away. I respond right away.
That's a good idea.
That's very smart.
I am very smart. I'm not going to lie. I went to MIT.
But sometimes it can be overwhelming.
Speaking of anxiety.
Yes. Some people, and that's actually a really interesting thing to bring up because the expectation is that now everyone should be responding instantaneously to things. And
I expected that before too.
Yeah, but what you have to realize, Seth, is that some people have anxiety about communication. And that can really be a big barrier. And sometimes things are just so overwhelming that it's like, I realize that I am, sitting in my bed or on my couch watching TV, and that like, in theory, it shouldn't be difficult to respond to these messages, but sometimes it takes there's an emotional difficulty to it.
Absolutely. I think that's an amazing point because we're not used to just sitting so stagnant all the time alone with our thoughts. And
I do it a lot.
Well, yeah, but everyone is wired differently, and I feel like now is a time where we can really become attuned to our own energies and how we react to situations. And I have like some friends that are like staying on top of everything and just going. And then I have other friends that are like, I can't get out of my bed. And I honestly think there should be no judgment on either end. I think we're all wired to deal with everything in different ways depending on how we feel each day. And I feel like now's a good time to be aware of that,
Absolutely.
And how do you feel, Melissa, that you've been holding up anxiety-wise? Have you had what have you been doing to calm yourself down if you feel that you're having anxious thoughts or feeling uneasy or restless?
Some days you just kind of got to get through it. Like you got to just sit and have that cry. Cause there's about 1 day a week, at least, sometimes 2 days, sometimes more, that I just need to just break down, or I just need to lie in my bed and not do anything, or I can't focus on certain things. I can focus on some things and not others, but sometimes you just gotta you can't get around it. You just have to go through it. So, swim through it, not over it.
Just keep swimming.
Well, I find that I did cry in one of my Facebook Live episodes. I think Kelly watched, and I lost it. And that episode got twice as much people watching.
Well, it's real. You're not trying to, put on a brave face.
Yeah, it was one of the sweeter songs from Love Quirks that was so, I'm gonna cry right now. It was such a part of my life, that song, that I remembered all the emotions from it. And it's my favorite moment in the show. And I just lost it for 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
And, but everyone loved it. So maybe I should just cry more often.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy because I think that's the important part of it is we all want to see that. We all want to see people being vulnerable right now because we're all feeling vulnerable. And I think, what you said, Melissa, some days I just need to have a good cry. That's stronger than pushing down that emotion. I've learned during this situation that it's okay to have sad days too. And I'm a person where I try to be very positive most of the time, but this is a weird situation right now. And we're learning a lot about ourselves, and it makes you stronger to understand that it's okay to have a day like that. So I commend you for that. I think everyone needs to be reminded of that right now for sure. And that's why, Seth, like, it probably felt even good for you to be a little emotional about your song. Because I feel like on social media,
crying. Yeah.
On social media, we want to be strong all the time, but we don't have to, you know?
Right. No, absolutely. And there's just some days you just have to connect with someone, and that's going to help. And you gotta, you keep innovating, I think, is really the thing. Like, it's not going to always be one solution. And some days you make bread. I haven't done that yet, but
That's
people
the
are
thing now.
Sometimes you need to.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
Thank you. It's a crusty joke.
Hopefully, yes. Got to get a good crust. But yeah, sometimes it's just going to be a constant redirection of that energy. You got to lay down sometimes, and sometimes, like, I'm a runner, and even though it's terrible going out with a mask and not being able to breathe properly, you have to, if you're going to go, and keep away from people. But getting a couple of miles in, even if it's actually miserable while doing it, go home and feel better about that too. The endorphin.
Oh yeah, I always feel better after Zumba on Sundays.
Yep, same with me. Well, I've been doing at-home workouts, but when I finish my workouts, I'm like, I'm moving. Thank you. It's like I feel like we all miss just being on the go right now. So even if we're not working out as much, it's great to just do a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do the 45-minute yoga video. Maybe you can only do a 20-minute one, and that is still better than nothing.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, who cares about gaining weight? Who cares about any of that stuff? I'm not even talking about that. It's just about moving your body helps your brain feel better.
Definitely.
Definitely. Really important to remember right now.
Well, thank you, Melissa. We will bring you back at the end for the round table. Thanks for being on our show.
Thank you so much, Melissa. We'll talk to you soon.
Guys. See you soon.
All right. Our final guest today is just a few weeks away from pushing out a baby.
Sorry, hold on. Born and raised in Miami, she has been a New Yorker now for 9 years.
Most recently, she was seen in Manuel versus the Statue of Liberty at the Gallery Players and La Vie Parisienne at the Long Island Opera.
Wow. She is a jack of all trades and works in many realms, performing, insurance, and is a graduate student at Manhattan College, where she is working on her Master's of Science in Mental Health Counseling.
And her biggest pet peeve is Trump supporters. He has got to go. He does his fake tan. She promises not to drink bleach. Please welcome Dani Granati. Hey, Dani.
Hey, everyone.
How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Well, we're still
Hanging
here.
in there. We're still here.
Awesome. Okay.
We're already on week 3 of our show. Who knew?
Right. Yeah, it's fantastic.
So crazy. So how have you been holding up during quarantine? What has your journey been like? Congratulations on your baby, by the way.
Thank you. It's been a lot. I naturally have anxiety anyway, but add quarantine and pandemic to the mix of being pregnant. It's been a lot of extra anxiety. In the beginning of this, I freaked out a lot more, and I've kind of leveled out. I've gotten used to the whole thing, and I was afraid to go to my doctor's appointments even because I was like, oh my gosh, what if I catch it at the doctor? But, once you get to the end of pregnancy, you have to go every week. So I just take all precautions, mask, gloves, hand sanitizer, alcohol wipes, and just say a prayer.
Yes. Yeah. Dani has so much anxiety, I actually wrote her a song about it called Panic Button.
It's true.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, I've struggled with anxiety a lot throughout my life. When I was younger, I had more social-based anxiety, but this whole pandemic is enough to make anyone feel anxious. And it says that you're studying mental health science. Is that did you want to get into that because of your own anxiety experiences, or have you always been?
Yeah, I'm studying mental health counseling. Part of it is what I've gone through, what I've had family members go through, friends. I've just always been super fascinated by psychology and human behavior and what makes people do the things they do, why do they think the way they think, and it's just always been a huge passion of mine. And I was supposed to do grad school for this years ago. I had gotten in some places and then just deferred and never went. And I said, all right, it's now or never. I'm getting older. So I'm trying to balance a psychology career with performing because I love both.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And having a baby. That's a lot.
And I'm having a baby.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. You must be feeling so many different things right now with all this going on.
Oh yeah. It's definitely been a lot. Yeah, lots of emotions. I mean, pregnancy by itself just puts you in weird moods. And
I hear that from people.
Yeah, it's been a lot, but it's exciting too. My husband and I are so excited to have our son, and yeah, he'll be here soon. We'll see when he comes.
Is he your first baby?
Yes.
Oh, congrats! That's so exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I'm really excited to be a mom.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, sending positive vibes to both of you guys.
Oh, thank you
for everything. Absolutely. And then you mentioned, tell us a little bit about your acting. It said you studied opera for a while as well.
Yeah. So I went to Duquesne University where I studied vocal performance and minored in psychology. And I was trained predominantly in opera. But around my senior year, I was like, I love opera, but I think I want to do musical theater more. So I just started auditioning for things. I was living in Atlanta with my mom and did a bunch of shows. And then 2 years later, I moved to New York. 2 years after that, I got my equity card, and the rest is history. I do a combination of straight plays, opera, musical theater. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I do a lot of showcases with Seth.
That's true.
I've done like 20 of them. Oh my gosh.
I don't think it's 20. It's probably more like 15.
Okay, but a lot. We met.
That's a lot.
The way I met him was I was cast in one of his showcases, and then we just became best friends. I was like, he is so funny. And
Thank you. Thank you.
At the time, I was working at Starbucks, and anybody who knows Seth knows he loves
this
free
story.
things. So he would come to every shift I worked, cut the line, and I would give him a free drink.
Yeah, I love free drinks.
So yeah, that's how we bonded. It was so great.
Well, she was
awesome.
working at the one right on 45th Street, so it's very close.
Yeah, he can walk there, and Seth loves to walk everywhere, so it was perfect.
Yeah. I miss walking.
Me too.
I know.
That's my favorite thing about New York is walking everywhere. It's like you don't even really have to exercise when life is normal here because we're all just moving around so much. I miss that a lot.
And now I can barely move at all. I waddle.
Well, what if you've been? Well, actually, I can actually relate to you with the opera thing because I also studied vocal performance for a while, and I was in school for opera.
We have a peanut gallery comment real quickly. OMFG.
Ashley, what's going on,
he
Ashley?
used to beg me for sandwiches when I was at Starbucks. I love the sandwiches. It's true. Speaking of people who've done over 20 showcases who I met via the showcases who worked at Starbucks. It's good to know she's watching. All right. Sorry, Kelly. Go back to your question.
No, it's okay. I was just saying that I studied opera for a little bit too, and ultimately realized I wanted to do more just theater instead. So that's interesting that you have kind of a similar story. It's quite the dedication to dedicate your life to opera. It's extremely difficult. So
yeah, I mean, I still love it. Occasionally I do it. It's kind of like if somebody needs me for something, they call me, but I don't actively audition for it like I do for theater. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's great to have that in your background, though, for sure. It takes a lot of skill.
Oh, it's so fun.
So.
I mean, I love opera.
And you love opera too, right, Seth?
Yeah, I've watched every opera for the last 40 days. I've watched them all. The Met has a new one each day available for 23 hours. I have 100% record in watching them all.
That's
even the
amazing.
ones I didn't enjoy, I finished them.
That's
I could
wish
say
I had that time.
I have time. What can I say?
I don't. Even though I'm in quarantine, I have been so busy, and Seth will tell you this, I have like no time for anything. I work 40 hours a week. I'm in 3 graduate classes, and I'm preparing to have a baby. So
oh my gosh.
I don't even realize I'm in quarantine because all I'm doing is work, like constantly.
So you're still working from home? What have you been doing?
I handle arbitration. So basically, between auto accident companies, when they can't come to a liability decision, it goes to arbitration. And I mostly represent farmers. So basically, I will argue why farmers is right and why Geico is wrong or whoever. And then an arbitrator reviews it and renders a decision.
Okay.
And not to toot my own horn, but I have a very high batting average of winning. I'm good at arguing. So
That's awesome. Good
I'm
for
now
you.
singing The Farmer in the Dell. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in because you just said farmer. That's what I think of.
No, but Farmers has their own jingle. We are farmers.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
bum 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 bum.
Yeah, come on.
I totally get
Yeah,
that.
that's really catchy, that jingle.
Not as catchy
It
as our
is.
theme song.
True.
What day is it with Seth and Kelly?
Kelly. Seth loved our theme song.
I love it. No, actually, someone
love it
was
too.
telling
I
me
mean-
they couldn't get it out of their head. Oh,
Really?
it was Melene Sauce from our voiceover
Aw,
class.
she's a
She-
sweetheart.
She wrote the other day that she couldn't get it out of her head. But speaking of
Aw.
opera, our other guest tonight writes that both her parents were opera singers.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
I believe Melissa was in Madame Butterfly when she was a kid. I think she played the kid.
Wow.
But
Very
we,
cool.
we can ask her about that in a few minutes when we bring her
Lots
back.
of opera singers here. Since we're talking about anxiety today, tell us one thing, Dani, that you've been doing to keep yourself calm and grounded throughout this quarantine.
Taking bubble baths. That is my
Ooh.
vice. I take bubble baths, I blast Celine Dion, and I have my own solo concert in the bathtub.
Nice.
I'm obsessed with Celine Dion. I actually saw her in concert right before this all happened. February
wow.
29th was her concert. Leap year.
Yes.
And that was like my last like big outing. I've been home. I haven't gone anywhere except the doctor and the pharmacy a couple of times since March 6th. Haven't gone anywhere.
Mhm.
So yeah, the Celine Dion concert was like the last big to do. And also, Seth,
That's
your
awesome.
birthday dinner. What day was that we did that?
That was, we had dinner on the Thursday before, so the 27th.
Okay, yeah, that was
That's the last time I saw you.
Subway, and I wore a mask because
Well, I'll tell you,
even-
speaking of grateful, I'm grateful I had my birthday, because if it had been 2
Mhm.
weeks later, it would have been...
I know. Yeah, I had to
Aw.
cancel my baby shower. A lot of people were having to
Mhm.
cancel things, and I'm just glad it
Mhm.
wasn't my wedding. We got that done last year, so thank
That's
God for
good.
that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Lindsay Green says same. I'm not sure at what point she said same, but she agrees with us.
Oh, yay!
And then Kelly's mom loves our theme song.
Oh, thank
Yay.
you, Mom. Well, yeah, taking bubble baths. Oh my God, I miss that. I mean, I don't have a shower where I could do that here, but that's so relaxing. I sometimes just take a hot shower just before bed, just to like, just center myself, you know.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
definitely great advice. And I sing and dance a lot to calm myself. What about you, Seth? What have you been doing? What's like your main relaxing, anxiety calming activity? I know you're
mean,
always doing your projects, but
I feel like I have to keep myself busy. If I don't keep
Yeah.
myself busy, then I start to go batty. But like I have a really clear-cut schedule where I do my crossword, the New York Times crossword every day. I do a half hour of Japanese. I read for a half hour. And if I can get through everything on my to-do list for the day, then I get to watch TV for a few hours. Right now I'm watching Little Fires Everywhere, which is a great show on Hulu, which is based on the book Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. And I love the book. Also her other book. It's oh God, what's her other book title? I'm totally blanking. It's Things I Never Told You. It's something like that. She's wonderful. Her books are wonderful, and the book they did a great adaptation. So as long as I
Whoa,
can watch TV for a few hours before bed, I'm usually okay.
gotcha. I've heard of that show. I haven't checked it out, but so many people have been telling me to watch it.
Lindsay says same as she's chained to her house.
Oh.
And Katie says she cannot unsee Pam from The Office in cat ears. She thinks that you look like Jenna Fisher, Kelly.
Oh,
Look
I
at
don't.
that.
Who is that? Is Jenna Fisher Pam from The Office?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never honestly you know what's so funny? Some people have said that to me before. I've seen a few episodes of The Office.
My girlfriend thinks I look like Paul Giamatti with my beard. That's what she says. Oh, Carol Ann Wade asked, do your neighbors hear your musical bathing?
Oh, yes, they do. Gail, who lives next door to me. Hi, Gail, if you're watching. She hears me all the time and opens her window so she can hear more.
Oh, that's a good question. Thank you, Carol.
Aw. Well, that's awesome.
Carol Ann's my old roommate. Oh my gosh, she's a thing.
Isn't that great how this situation makes everyone connect with people? Like, I love how like we're doing so many things online now and just talking to people we haven't heard from in so long.
Oh yeah.
That's happened to me with so many college buddies throughout this whole thing. And I think it's kind of like a big blessing in a way.
I got a text from my friend Julia, who I hadn't talked to in like years, telling me how much she loved all my online content.
Aww.
Look, people are watching. You know, I'm always like, well, there's only 100 views. Who knows how many of those people watch the whole thing? But I think people do watch.
Yeah.
All right. So we are now up to our roundtable discussion. So I'm going to bring back Melissa and Josh.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Hi.
And we're all in a little circle. So Kelly has the first roundtable question. We have 3 quick questions, and we'll just go around in a circle, starting with Kelly, then Dani, Melissa, Josh, and me.
Okay. What is your favorite tune to belt it out to right now?
That was a good segue too.
We've been talking about music a lot. Okay, so wait, should I go first or I guess
you go first.
Sorry. Oh my god. I've been reconnecting with a lot of music that I used to listen to when I was in high school for some reason. I used to be a big fan of the Hush sound. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They were like a small underground indie band. So I've just been listening to a lot of old favorites and just like reconnecting with bands I knew every word to. Oh, also Panic at the Disco's first album. I don't know why. I'm just feeling very nostalgic during this quarantine. What about you, Dani? Do you have like a go-to belted out to band or song? Oh, you said Celine Dion.
Anything Celine Dion. I've always loved The Power of Love, so I belt that out randomly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like All By Myself is getting sung a lot during these times, right?
Oh, right.
I used to sing that at karaoke.
Oh yeah.
But now I sing The Winner Takes It All.
Nice. Very nice.
All right, Melissa, what are you belting out?
Oh gosh, I've been singing like one verse of "When Will My Life Begin" from Rapunzel.
Oh, I love that movie.
Tangled. From Tangled. That's what it's called. It's not called Rapunzel, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've also been singing a little bit of what is it? Oh, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812.
Oh, such a good show.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
I like that show a lot too.
Yeah.
Our guests from we actually had guests the first 2 weeks from that show.
Yeah.
Mary Page and Celia.
Yeah.
Oh, my girlfriend says she listens to songs from her childhood.
Aww.
She's been putting some of the Japanese songs into Sesame Street Zumba on Sundays.
Oh, cool.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
That's very cool.
And Lindsay says we are contextually appropriate.
Okay.
And she also likes The Great Comet, I think.
So good.
I need to check out that musical because I've actually never listened to it and I've heard so many good things about it.
Oh yeah, Lindsay says no one else is her jam.
That's what I've been saying.
I usually have grape jelly, and that's my jam. Grape jelly.
Oh my god.
All right, Josh.
What about you, Josh? What have you been belting
I
out?
mean, I'm gonna go with Melissa's Disney theme, and Into the Unknown right now is just constantly stuck in my head because we know where we're going, and it's very appropriate. Although I like her "Show Yourself" a lot better from the movie.
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah, Frozen 2, Show Yourself is literally the gay anthem of the year, and it is so good and inspiring and just, but Frozen 2 has been my go-to. And Trolls World Tour, I don't know if you guys got to see that or rent it.
No, is it good?
It was totally worth it. But even just listening to some of the mashups and the renditions that, Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake and the rest of the cast have sang, it's really fun and funny. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's on my list. I do have to check that one out.
Yeah, I'm a 10-year-old at heart, so any kids movies and all that music.
Me too.
Sure.
Yeah, and thank you Disney Plus for bringing all this content to us during this time.
Yes,
totally.
Absolutely.
All right,
Disney's my favorite place on earth. So.
Oh my god, me too.
We're gonna go after all of this, Dani.
Okay, good.
Wilson Toe says "Lost in the Woods" is his jam.
Okay, very good.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Lost in the Woods is so great. I started hysterically laughing when that song started in the theaters. It's so perfect, but it's also ridiculous.
Yes.
It's really silly, but it knows.
Yes.
And it's,
if you really understand where they're coming from, you're like, oh my God, this is like an 80s musical. I love, or like an 80s music video. I love it. Yes.
That's what I thought too when I saw it. I was like, this is so 80s. Hey.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah,
are they going there? Oh, they're going there.
Oh, they're going there.
Yeah, it's a
All
bit
right. So I think that what I have in my head most of these days is Puccini, and it's such a dorky thing to say.
Not
but
at all.
Tosca was
Yeah.
on,
Mm.
and Tosca gets stuck in my head. La Boheme gets stuck. I love the Il Torrendo, da 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 da. And I usually just sing fake opera all day, like, and my girlfriend thinks I'm making fun of it, but I'm not. I wish I could sing like that.
Do you like
All
Lucy
right.
D'Arte? That's my favorite Tosca piece.
Yes, I love all Puccini.
Oh,
And then there's La
breathtaking.
Fanciulla de West, which is basically music of the night.
Yes. Well, before
All
midnight,
right.
right?
Question number 2. What has been your proudest quarantine cooking accomplishment? I don't really cook at all. My girlfriend has made some amazing meals. I have eaten them, and they've tasted very good. But I can make an omelet, but that hasn't changed. So I don't think I've really learned how to cook at all. Kelly?
I've been experimenting a lot with cooking because my quarantine goal was to become a little bit more health conscious. So I've been experimenting with a lot of like quinoa mixtures and like vegetarian stir fry mixtures. And I never, all right, this sounds insane, but I've never made rice before, and my friend helped me over the phone. So small accomplishment for me. Yeah, I don't know. I've been enjoying cooking. It's been therapeutic for me throughout this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Danny?
Oh my gosh. So Louis definitely did not marry me for my cooking skills or lack thereof. My mom always calls me dangerous in the kitchen because I burn things. But I did make one chicken dish that I really liked. It was like a lemon chicken. Louis didn't like it. He said it had too much lemon, but I like a lot of lemon and stuff. But I was proud of myself. Yeah, I don't really cook much.
Melissa?
Yeah. So I do a lot of blue aprons, and I've still been doing those, and they're really good, but that one's not like an accomplishment. I did, however, make muffins, and I didn't have all the right. Yeah, I made apple cinnamon muffins, and I didn't have all the right ingredients, so I substituted, and it kind of worked. Like I substituted honey for sugar and stuff like that. I did end up forgetting the salt, which was not good, but they were. But I felt, innovative and like I learned something.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
Kelly's
awesome.
mom says yum. Ashley said she made a coconut cake.
Nice.
And
Okay.
then Josh, what are
That's
you
impressive.
cooking? What's cooking? Good looking.
So my cooking accomplishment has been basically exploding my microwave during this time of
Ooh.
quarantine.
Wow.
I did actually make that happen.
Wow.
Caused a fire in the microwave, had to get a new one.
Oh no.
You really
who
nuked
knew
it.
that Amazon has a microwave with Alexa built in? So now I can just say, Alexa, heat microwave for 2 minutes. So easy, because that is
Wow.
also my cooking skill. Alexa, don't do that, by the way. That is basically my cooking skills. I am very fortunate enough right now I have a roommate who loves to cook. So we've been going grocery shopping usually about once a week. And then he's been making me lunches or dinners. Friday nights, my cooking expands to ordering out, which we do while watching RuPaul. So
Yeah.
RuPaul!
I
I love her. That's
I fear that RuPaul is a drag. Thank
oh
you.
my God.
Oh my God,
Dani.
Dad.
I thought I was bad at dad jokes. These are amazing.
Thank you. I have fathered the whole movement of
Oh my
dad
God.
jokes.
Oh my God.
All right,
Okay.
Kelly has the last question.
Yeah, so the last question is, what is a movie lately that has blown your mind? I recently watched this crazy movie called Annihilation with Natalie Portman. It's based
it's
on a
good.
book. And it's like they explore this like wormhole that like alters DNA. And it's like, if you're into like weird sci-fi kind of stuff, which I very much am, with a little bit of horror elements, if you're afraid of bears, I would not recommend it.
It's
it's-
unbearable.
Seth, you're on a roll today.
Your mom thinks so.
Seth's on a roll today. But it was crazy. I the whole time was just like, I can't believe this is happening. This is so weird. This is so weird. So if you want something that's really trippy, check it out. What about you, Dani? Have you seen anything really crazy lately, or just that made you cry?
Yeah. So I had actually rewatched Contagion because I thought it was just appropriate for what's going on. And I had my husband watch it and we were both like, oh my gosh, this like predicted what was going to happen here. I mean, granted, the MEV1 virus from the movie was worse than the coronavirus in that it killed everybody. There were no survivors, but you know, the way it originated and how it came here through plane travel, all of that was like exactly the same, and how they're saying it came from a bat, all exactly the same. So that was just like, oh my gosh, we're living in Contagion. So yeah, that was
batshit crazy.
Exactly.
Okay, how about you, Melissa?
I can't.
So I haven't been watching very many movies. I've watched a couple, but I've been watching, as my intro said, a ton of Star Trek. I've been watching Next Generation, and I finally just saw the famous episode, The Inner Light.
That's a great episode.
Which it definitely blew my mind, the way, because Star Trek messes with timeline and stuff a lot, and like, you know, people's minds and everything. And it was just so wonderful. There's practically no other. I mean, they're in the episode. Everyone from the regular cast is still kind of in the episode, but it's mostly just Patrick Stewart being amazing. Yeah. So good.
Star Trek Picard is fantastic, by the way.
I'm working up to it.
You have Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, and Discovery first, but you'll get there eventually.
I mean, that's what quarantine is for.
Yeah.
Katie says NPC is playing World War Z soundtrack during their Corona updates, and she almost died. Interesting. All right, Josh, movie.
Melissa, I'm actually with you. I haven't been watching as many movies as TV shows, and I am a Star Warsian, but am becoming a Trekkie. Yeah. I am about to finish season 1 of the original Star Trek.
Oh, I love all the new Trekkies.
I basically signed up for CBS All Access so I could watch all this stuff. And I wanted to watch. I've seen Discovery and I've seen some of the J.J. Abrams movies, but I wanted to watch all of the TV series before getting to Picard.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing.
So I've been watching.
Are you going to do the animated series
too? If you guys
too?
Don't mind, I may, yes. If you don't mind subtitles, though, an amazing show I watched on Netflix, not Tiger King, but it's called Money Heist. It's in Spanish, and it is so fantastic. I became obsessed with it, and so I highly recommend that. It's about this group of people who take over the Spanish mint, and then how they sort of even work together with the good guys and trying to, you know, bring a revolution about. And it was so good. I highly recommend it.
Cool.
I watch a lot of things with subtitles. On Netflix, the subtitle show in Spanish I like is Elite, which is a great
we were both
pleasure.
obsessed with that.
Yeah.
And the show I watch on HBO with show title is My Brilliant Friend, which is my absolute favorite show ever, and you all should watch it. I've read the whole 4-book series. It's the best book series ever. My Brilliant Friend was rated the best non-fantasy book series of the last decade by Entertainment Weekly. Elena Ferrante, it's phenomenal. But to answer the actual question, the movie I was going to recommend also has subtitles, and it's called Parasite. It's won the Oscar. You might have heard of it. Yeah. I went into it with a lot of expectation, and it lives up to them all, which is remarkable because usually things don't. And then this weekend we watched another good movie, also with subtitles, called The Farewell, starring Awkwafina. And it was actually really funny. Wilson Toast says woohoo. I don't know what for, but I'll put it up. The Farewell, you think it's going to be sad. Oh, no, he's saying the best movie of the decade was Parasite, I'm sure. Because it was
I've heard about it and I haven't watched it. I should definitely
Same. I haven't either.
Yeah, I would watch Parasite. And it's not, you know, it's not that gory or anything. It's actually very funny. The Farewell is funnier than I thought it would be. And it was good. It was really good. I recommend. So basically, I've just really made myself to be an intellectual snob today with the opera, and all my film and TV have subtitles.
Nah,
There you go.
I don't. Well, I've made myself to be an intellectual geek then with everything I've mentioned that I like. So
You got a lot of Star Trek, a lot of gaming.
lots of gaming, lots
Yeah.
of sci-fi. I like that though, and I might start watching Star Trek too now. Honestly,
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I've heard
totally
so many.
should.
Maybe I should check it out. I want to become. I want to be
Kelly's
part of the new
mom in her
fandom.
next
Start with the next
Kelly's
generation.
mom in her next care package. I want you to send her a Switch Lite with
Ah!
Animal Crossing. Do that for her. She'll love you forever.
Yes, Joshua, you're making my day. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for being a part of the show. It was great to have you on. I will take out our guests. Take out our guests, and then we will end the show. Thank you all for
Yes.
watching.
Thank you for
Sorry,
tuning in.
We went over a few minutes again. I keep
Yeah.
trying to end the episodes at an hour, but it's okay.
We always go
We're
over a
not on
little.
it.
It's fine.
We're not on a network, so it's okay.
Nah.
All right, so
But-
I will play our theme song one more time, and then I will end this broadcast.
Yeah.
So we'll see you here next week.
Next week, and what's our
Yeah.
topic for next week, Seth?
That's a good question.
Was it teaching?
Episode 4 is teacher feature.
Teacher
feature, and we're gonna have Kimberly Faye Greenberg, Brian Childers, and Elise Gislane, and they're gonna talk about teaching from home. Eloise teaches voice lessons. Brian's doing piano, and Kim does a whole lot of web seminars.
Very cool.
So they'll be talking about what it's like to do that from home. All right,
Awesome. Okay.
So we'll see you guys next week.
See you next time, guys.
What day is it with Seth and Kelly?